Alright, welcome back to the channel, everyone. It is Thanksgiving Day 2022. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you guys are having a good season. We actually just pulled up to a spot on State where we hunted pretty hard. Really had high hopes for this spot. Got a lot of good bucks on trail cam. It just never came through for us. I anticipate this area is going to get hunted real hard in the upcoming rifle season. So we're going to pull our trail cam and pull our set that we have up here and just get it out of the woods. So we're actually going to be doing something on the channel that we haven't done a lot of. We'll be rolling into rifle season. So far on the channel we only have one rifle hunt, and that is Gabby with her 350 Legend hunt. So we have Gabby has a buck tag, Hagen has a doe tag, and then Wifey has a buck and a doe tag. So basically going to be focusing on those three. We'll see how they make out. Hagen has never actually shot a deer with a rifle. He's actually never shot a rifle. I didn't want him to be scared, so I always just let him shoot the crossbow, and I thought if we got into rifle season we would deal with it at that point. He's 11 years old and he's a little bigger than when he first started hunting. I think he was like, I don't know, 6 years old and weighed about 40 pounds when we started hanging out in blind together. So he can handle it. He's a little bit nervous, but we're going to be going to a spot where in the last week of archery we spent a lot of time. Hagen shot his buck there. I had a bunch of encounters with some pretty decent bucks, and I think we'll be alright. As far as this state game land hunting goes, we had an awesome year. It's a lot of work to self-film hunts or even film Hagen on state game land. Going home every night, making sure all the batteries are charged, making sure that you're leaving minimal amount of stuff in the woods so you don't have to carry it in every time, but also don't make it so people walk out with all your stuff. You have camera arms, just a ton of stuff. So appreciate you guys watching the channel. Basically, I think we ended up killing a doe in archery season, and I got a bear, which was amazing. And then we kind of defaulted back to some private land that we knew, talked to the farmer, got in there, and then like the last week of the rut, basically the last week of season, we got into some bucks. But you know, I feel like we learned a lot of good and bad came from the season. So look forward to rolling that into next season. We'll be doing a lot of game land hunting next year as well. But for right now, let's go up and pull this stand. Beautiful ridge. Hopefully our camera's still there. I'm curious to see what's on that in the last couple weeks. And let's go shoot some rifles. Alright, so we just made it up to the ridge where our stand is. This stand was perfect. It was easy access. We could get into it real quick after work and after school, so we spent a lot of time in this stand. It's a nice oak ridge, but there just wasn't any acorns this year on this side of the hill. It's amazing how this has changed since the first time we sat here this season. It used to be covered with hickory limbs and branches. Now the stand's wide open. Obviously a couple months have went by. Really anticipated seeing more deer during daylight here. There's a beautiful ridge that comes up over from the green fields at the bottom. We have our camera set up over here. Had a lot of decent bucks. Really thought we could get one here for Hagen, but just wasn't able to make it happen. Maybe next year there'll be some acorns and the spot will be a little bit different, but we're gonna go ahead. Camera's still out and the stand's still here. So appreciate everyone. I know we get a lot of people on that camera, so appreciate everyone just walking by that and, you know, not stealing it. So there are good people out there. I know I've walked by a ton of equipment, cameras, stands. Just leave that stuff alone, guys. It's not yours. So let's get this down and out of the way and get back to the truck. Alright, so we're here at Uncle Taylor's house and we're going to shoot the guns in before tomorrow's season opener. Hagen's up first. He's going to be shooting this 243 Model 7. That's a youth model gun. I've had it since I was 11 years old. We're going to be shooting Remington Core-Lokt 100 grain shells through it. This gun historically is just usually spot on, but we're going to do our due diligence. Hagen, before you get up to the bench, what are our 4 rules that we go by when handling a gun? Rule number 1?
Treat the gun as if it's loaded.
Yep, and what's rule number 2?
Check to see if there's a shell inside.
That's right. What's rule number 3?
Keep point the gun in a safe direction.
That's right. And what's rule number 4?
Keep your finger off the trigger unless you're ready to shoot.
That's right. If you follow those rules, you'll be in pretty good shape. So we got the lead sled here, and we got a target out at 100 yards. Let's go ahead and see what Hagen can do. This is the first time for him shooting a rifle. Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Dude, we got the lead sled. We're gonna put some weight on it. I got weights in the back of the truck, and you'll be fine. Just squeeze the trigger, take a deep breath, and then when you shoot at a deer, you won't even feel it. Okay? All right, so let's go set the camera up out at the target, and let's sling one down range. All right, a little change of plans. Hagen got a little nervous, so old Ma's gonna shoot first. So she's dialed in. Let's put our earmuffs on, and let's see how she does. How'd you do?
I had no idea. Yeah, it's good enough.
She's like, we don't even need to shoot it. I shot it once last year. All right, hey, come on, big boy. Hagen, come on, boy. It's your turn. All right, plan C. We had to break out the 350 Legend. Hagen's gonna shoot a couple with this first. He's a little nervous to shoot that 243. So we'll have him shoot this a few times, get used to it, and then hopefully move up to the 243.
Squeeze it. Keep squeezing.
All right, go ahead and take it off safety. Now, make sure you're on target, and then go ahead and squeeze the trigger right in the center. Just squeeze.
How hard is this trigger?
Just squeeze it. See? Didn't feel it, did you? Take your finger off trigger. Just leave it right there. How'd you do?
Good. I didn't feel it at all.
I told you you
I
wouldn't.
didn't feel it. It scared me at first because I didn't know how hard the trigger was. Like
The
I was
trigger's
like,
a little bit
When
harder.
is it going? When is it going? And then it went off.
Well, that's how a gun should kind of scare you a little bit when you squeeze. All right, let's go check it out. Were you in there?
Right here's where I shot. I was aiming.
Wow, not bad for your first time with the 243, huh? That's not bad. You want to shoot it again just to do it?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it a couple more times. Okay, see if you can beat your last shot.
So,
You good? You ready?
should be.
Why don't you put your other hand like right here?
So how
Just like what you would be to shoot it. Yep. All right. Just squeeze.
I think I hit things up so hard.
Okay, take your finger off trigger. All right, now we're done with the 243. It's time to sight in the Remington Model 7600 30-06 carbine. The old pump action. It's got a beautiful Nikon scope on it. She's a pretty gun. Doesn't really get out of the safe very often, but I'm thinking if I go back to private, I'm probably gonna carry my bow. But if I get walking around on some of that state land, I'd like to do a little bit more scouting on some of those ridges. I'm gonna carry this, so we're gonna take a couple shots and see where this is at.
Let's do it.
For this, we're shooting a Winchester Super X, 150 grain. Probably haven't fired this gun in 10 years, so let's see what we got. Got to strap it down. That's the first time I think I've shot on that lead sled. You really don't feel it freaking thing. Even with this 30-06, that was nothing. And I forgot to strap down. That's a little bit high to the left, but Nothing I'm gonna be scared about.
Look at.
Alright, so that was a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've shot a bunch of rifles. We ended up getting out the 350 Legend, 243, 270, 30-06, and a 300. Had to make a couple adjustments on a few of them, but we're all dialed up, ready for tomorrow. Alright, now that we're done shooting, want to take a ride over quick and check out our spot for tomorrow. Just make sure that everything's in line and got the right tree to set up against. Don't want to sit in the stand because we want to be able to move a couple feet either way if something's coming in that we don't have a good shot for. So want to be mobile. Let's go check that spot out now. Alright, so we got a little break in the rain today. We went out and shot our guns earlier. 243 and the .06 are dialed in, ready for action. Decided to come out here and try to find a spot to set up against the tree for tomorrow morning. We didn't want to be limited to shooting out of a platform stand, so here with Wifey. She's super pumped to be on the channel. She loves being on TV, but she's actually got a buck tag and a doe tag, and it is her time to shine. She loves rifle season, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to post up against these two trees right here. Maybe build a little bit of shelter with some of these down hemlock branches. With as many does that are on this property, I feel like we're still going to see a lot of rut activity. So we're kind of planning on that and basing where we're setting up on a lot of the movement that I saw the last week. So we're going to set up a little post here, put my camera arm on the tree so it's nice and quiet and stable, and see if we can get in here tomorrow and smoke one. We're actually only about 20 yards from where we sat with Hagen, where he shot his buck. So should be a good spot. Let's see what. Alright, I wanted to take a second to explain how this muddy camera arm works. In one of my last videos, I did have issues with it when I moved it from one side of the tree to the other, but I wanted to show how easy it is to adjust. So if you're trying to adjust up and down, you can actually just spin this and it'll raise it or lower it, and then you have a bubble here and then one out here on the fluid head, so that raises it up and down. And then if you're not level left to right, you just pull these back and you can spin this until you like it and then tighten it back up. So that's all I had to do. Pretty easy, and this has been a pretty reliable setup for the most part for us. Alright, so we're all set up. We found a good spot against these two trees, got it brushed in a little bit. We found the pattern in early November was to be by this creek. A lot of deer running up and down and across, so we're going to stick with that. We got about a 100-yard shot to the creek, a couple good trails around us, and going to try to make it happen. He's going to hunt here in the morning, and then he's going to be out in the afternoon trying to fill his doe tag. So let's see if we can get it done.